Missy Elliott finally confesses what made her leave the industry for good. Missy Elliott. Just hearing her name brings back memories of an era that changed hip-hop forever. She wasn't just a rapper or a singer. She was a pioneer, a force of creativity that inspired a generation of artists. Everyone knows her iconic songs, her unique style, and her groundbreaking music videos. But there came a time when the world noticed her absence, when Missy Elliott, the unstoppable icon, seemed to vanish from the music scene. Fans were left wondering, why would someone with such talent, who had achieved so much, suddenly walk away from it all? Today, for the first time, she finally opens up about what really made her leave the industry for good, and the story is more emotional than anyone could imagine. Missy's journey wasn't an overnight success. It was built on years of hard work, dedication, and a relentless drive to create something different. Growing up in Portsmouth, Virginia, she had a dream and a talent that couldn't be ignored. Her early days were filled with long hours of practice, writing lyrics, and experimenting with beats that would later become her signature sound. When her first hits dropped, it was clear that Missy Elliott was going to change the game. Collaborations with legends, chart-topping songs, and award-winning music videos established her as not only a superstar but as a visionary in hip-hop. Every move she made felt fresh, bold, and unapologetically Missy, earning her respect from fans and fellow artists alike. But fame, as dazzling as it is, comes with pressures that often go unseen. Behind the flashy music videos, sold-out concerts, and magazine covers, Missy struggled with the constant demands of her career. Touring across the country, recording new music under tight deadlines, and maintaining her public image took a toll on her physical and emotional health. The lifestyle she once dreamed of became exhausting, leaving little time for herself or the people she cared about. There were moments when she felt trapped in a cycle of work, public appearances, and relentless expectations. Despite her love for music, there was a part of her that began to feel empty, as if the joy that once drove her creativity was being slowly drained. The turning point came quietly, almost imperceptibly, but it changed everything. It wasn't one dramatic event, but a combination of small moments that added up: the sleepless nights, the missed family gatherings, and the constant pressure to deliver perfection. Missy began to realize that the music industry, while rewarding in fame and money, was taking more from her than it was giving. There were creative compromises she couldn't accept, industry politics she found exhausting, and a personal life that was being left behind. Slowly, the idea of stepping away began to take shape in her mind. It was terrifying at first because music had been her life, but she understood that sometimes self-preservation meant making the hardest choice. When she finally made the decision, it wasn't easy. Fans didn't understand, rumors started, and the media speculated endlessly. But Missy knew that leaving was the only way to regain control of her life. In her confession, she speaks with honesty and vulnerability, admitting that she needed space to heal, to reconnect with her family, and to rediscover herself outside of the public eye. Walking away from something she loved deeply was painful, but it was necessary. She speaks about the weight of the decision, the mix of fear and relief, and the unexpected freedom that came with choosing herself over expectations. Life after music, she admits, has been transformative. Away from the spotlight, she found joy in the little things: mentoring young artists, exploring new hobbies, traveling, and simply living without the constant scrutiny. She still writes music, but it's for herself now, not for an album or a chart. She has learned to cherish moments that fame once made her overlook, and she has grown stronger and more fulfilled because of it. Her story is a reminder that stepping away doesn't mean giving up. Sometimes it's the bravest choice one can make. In the end, Missy Elliott's story is more than just about leaving the music industry. It's about self-discovery, courage, and the importance of mental and emotional well-being. She leaves fans with a powerful message: life is too precious to sacrifice for anything, even passion, if it costs you your peace. And while her return to music may or may not happen someday, the legacy she left behind continues to inspire millions. The truth about why she left is simple yet profound. Sometimes, loving yourself means stepping away, and Missy Elliott chose to do exactly that. Leaving the music industry was one of the hardest decisions Missy Elliott ever made. For years, her life had been a whirlwind of studio sessions, award shows, music videos, and endless tours. She loved her craft more than anything, but behind the scenes, the pressure had begun to crush her. In her emotional confession, she opens up about nights spent staring at the ceiling, wondering if all the fame and success were worth the personal cost. She admits that there were times when she felt invisible outside of her stage persona, as if people loved Missy the superstar, but not Missy the human being who needed rest, support, and love. Missy describes moments when her body and mind simply couldn't keep up. She recalls arriving at a studio after a 14-hour flight, feeling physically drained, yet still expected to perform at her peak. The endless cycle of interviews, performances, and public scrutiny left her anxious and isolated. She shares a fictional yet believable story about a night when she broke down in her dressing room, realizing she had missed her mother's birthday, a close friend's wedding, and countless simple moments of joy. It was in that quiet, painful moment that she understood something had to change. Music would always be her passion, but she couldn't allow her life to be consumed entirely by an industry that demanded so much and gave little back in terms of emotional fulfillment. In her confession, Missy emphasizes that leaving wasn't about giving up. It was about reclaiming her life. She wanted to rediscover who she was outside of the bright lights and loud applause. Slowly, she began to explore other passions that had been on hold for years. She took time to travel, to read, to write music just for herself, and to reconnect with friends and family she had unintentionally pushed aside. Fictionally, she shares a heartwarming moment of sitting with her niece and teaching her a simple beat on a drum, realizing that music still brought her joy, just in a quieter, more personal way. Mentoring became a big part of her new life. Missy found fulfillment in guiding young artists, helping them navigate the pressures of fame that she had endured. She used her experiences, both good and bad, to teach them about creative freedom, self-respect, and the importance of balance. She describes the satisfaction of watching new talent flourish and knowing she had helped them avoid some of the pitfalls she once faced. These moments, she says, gave her a sense of purpose she hadn't realized she was missing while caught up in her own career. Missy also candidly talks about the mental and emotional challenges of stepping away. There were days when she missed the thrill of performing, the energy of the crowd, and the adrenaline of creating something that resonated with millions. But over time, she learned that happiness didn't always have to come from applause or awards. Simple joys, laughing with friends, cooking a meal, writing a song for no one but herself, became the anchors of her new life. She expresses gratitude for this slower, more intentional pace, which allowed her to heal, reflect, and grow in ways fame never could. Finally, Missy leaves her fans with a hopeful yet realistic message. Life is about choices, and sometimes the bravest choice is to step away from something you love to protect your heart and mind. Her story, fictional yet deeply human, reminds us all that self-love, mental health, and personal growth are worth more than any accolade or chart-topping hit. Even though she left the music industry for good, the legacy she created continues to inspire countless artists and fans alike. And who knows, perhaps one day, when the time feels right, Missy Elliott might return, not because she has to, but because she wants to, on her own terms. Until then, she thrives in the life she chose, proving that true success is measured not by fame, but by the peace and fulfillment we create for ourselves. Looking back on her career, Missy Elliott reflects on a journey that was as beautiful as it was challenging. She acknowledges the highs, the awards, the iconic performances, the groundbreaking music videos, but she also openly shares the toll it took on her mental and emotional well-being. In her reflection, she admits that no amount of fame or recognition could replace the feeling of living a balanced, authentic life. Leaving the industry, she says, was not a failure. It was an act of courage and self-respect, a decision to honor her own needs above the expectations of the world. Missy uses her story to deliver a universal lesson. Sometimes the bravest choice isn't to push harder, but to step back and listen to yourself. She encourages her fans to prioritize their mental health, to set boundaries, and to pursue happiness on their own terms. Fictionally, she shares small, relatable moments, a morning spent walking in the park, a quiet day with family, or writing music just for herself, that remind us all that fulfillment doesn't always come from the spotlight. These anecdotes make her story human, showing that even legends struggle with the same challenges we do, and that choosing self-care is not only valid, but necessary. She also emphasizes the importance of leaving a legacy with intention. Missy may no longer be making music for the charts, but her influence continues to inspire new generations of artists who see her as a trailblazer. She speaks to young creators, encouraging them to remain true to themselves, to fight for their creative freedom, and to never let external pressures define their worth. Her story becomes not just about her, but about everyone who dreams big yet struggles under the weight of expectation. Finally, Missy Elliott closes her confession with a hopeful note for her fans. She reassures them that while she has left the public eye, she is thriving, happy, and at peace. Her life now is filled with intentional choices, genuine connections, and moments of joy she had once missed. She reminds her audience that stepping away is not the end, but a beginning, a chance to grow, heal, and rediscover what truly matters. And in this reflection, viewers are left inspired. Fame may fade, but living authentically and cherishing life's simple joys is the truest success. With this message, Missy Elliott's story comes full circle. From her rise to stardom, to the challenges behind the spotlight, to her courageous decision to leave, and finally to a life of purpose and fulfillment. Her journey teaches us all that sometimes the most powerful choice we can make is to put ourselves first. And in doing so, she leaves a legacy that is not just about music, but about strength, self-love, and the freedom to live life on your own terms. Looking back on her career, Missy Elliott reflects on a journey that was as groundbreaking as it was challenging. She openly shares the highs, the awards, the iconic performances, the unforgettable music videos, and the toll it took behind the scenes on her mental and emotional health. Fame, she confesses, can be a double-edged sword. It brings recognition, admiration, and opportunity, but it also comes with constant pressure, exhaustion, and the feeling that your life isn't fully your own. Leaving the music industry, she says, was not a defeat. It was an act of courage, a decision to reclaim her life and prioritize her peace. In her reflection, Missy emphasizes a lesson that resonates beyond music. Sometimes, the bravest move isn't to push harder or chase success, but to step back and honor your own needs. She shares quiet, personal moments that brought her joy after leaving the spotlight. Morning walks, time with loved ones, mentoring young artists, and writing music just for herself. These glimpses show that life outside fame, while quieter, can be just as meaningful and sometimes even more fulfilling. But then, she leans in with a smile and a hint of mystery in her voice. I still write, she admits. I still create, but not for anyone but me, at least for now. The pause is deliberate, teasing the audience. Could this mean a comeback? Or perhaps a new project in secret? Missy doesn't answer directly, leaving fans on edge, imagining what could come next. She doesn't promise anything, but she leaves the door slightly open, hinting that the story might not be over. With this subtle mystery, Missy Elliott's journey comes full circle. From meteoric rise, to facing the unseen struggles behind fame, to stepping away for herself, and finally, to living a life of choice, peace, and fulfillment. Yet, the suspense lingers. Will the legend return? Only time will tell. For now, her fans are left inspired, reflecting on the courage it takes to step away and the power of living life on your own terms while eagerly waiting for what might come next.